The 1970s brought a bold new chapter for the Chevrolet Camaro. Longer, lower, and sleeker, the second generation wasn't just a car, it was a revolution in design and performance. From dominating racetracks to battling fuel crises, this Camaro proved its strength during one of the most challenging eras in automotive history. The dawn of the 1970s was a transformative period in American automotive culture. The first-generation Chevrolet Camaro 1967 to 1969 had already made a name for itself, successfully challenging the Ford Mustang and carving out a loyal following. But by 1970, Chevrolet knew it was time to evolve. Muscle cars were becoming more sophisticated, the competition was intensifying, and consumers were demanding something fresh. The result was the second-generation Camaro, a car that redefined what a pony car could be. Unlike the boxier lines of the first generation, the new Camaro was longer, lower, and wider, with a distinctly European-inspired design. Chief designer Bill Mitchell and his team gave the car a sleek, aggressive look with flowing lines, a fast back roofline, and a wide stance. Many enthusiasts saw the 1970 Camaro as one of the most beautiful muscle cars ever created. Thanks to its mix of elegance and aggression, the second generation was officially introduced in February 1970, slightly later than the usual full launch. This gave rise to some confusion, as enthusiasts often refer to the 1970 Camaro as a 1970-and-a-half model year. Regardless of the timing, its impact was immediate. Power and performance: the base models came with a 6-cylinder engine. But the real excitement lay in the V8 options. The lineup ranged from the small block 307 and 350 cubic inch engines to the big block 396. But the crown jewel was the LT1350 V8 found in the legendary Z28, producing 360 horsepower. The Z28 wasn't just a street car, it was a race car disguised for the road. Built to dominate the SCCA Trans Am Racing Series. Meanwhile, the SS Supersport models could be equipped with the monstrous 396 cubic inch V8, rated up to 375 horsepower. This made the early 1970 Camaros some of the most powerful ever produced. With available 4-speed manual transmissions, limited slip differentials, and performance suspensions, the Camaro wasn't just about looks. It was a serious driver's machine. Style and identity: Chevrolet offered multiple trim levels. The base model, RS Rally Sport, SS, and Z28. The RS was mostly cosmetic, featuring split bumpers and hidden wipers that gave the Camaro a cleaner, sportier look. Many enthusiasts still regard the RS Z28 combination as one of the best-looking Camaros ever built. Inside, the Camaro also saw improvements: a driver-focused cockpit with deeply recessed gauges and bucket seats gave it a sporty yet refined atmosphere. It was clear that Chevrolet was targeting not just speed enthusiasts, but also buyers who wanted style and comfort. 1971. The muscle car strain. While 1970 was a high point for performance, things began to shift in 1971. Government regulations and changing insurance rates made high horsepower cars less practical for everyday buyers. Compression ratios were lowered across the industry, leading to reduced power output. For example, the LT1Z28 dropped from 360 horsepower to 330, and the SS396 big block was now rated at 300 horsepower. Despite these changes, the Camaro remained a top choice among performance fans. Its balance of style, power, and handling continued to attract buyers, even as the muscle car market began to face new challenges. 1972, a rocky road. The year 1972 was particularly difficult for Camaro. A prolonged United Auto Workers strike severely limited production numbers, with just over 68,000 units built, the lowest of any model year in the second generation. This scarcity makes 1972 Camaros especially collectible today, adding to the struggle. Horsepower ratings were now measured using the SAE net standard rather than gross, which made the numbers look much lower on paper. For example, the Z28's 350 V8 was now rated at 255 horsepower, though the real-world performance didn't drop quite as drastically as the figures suggested. Still, 1972 marked the beginning of the muscle car decline, as government regulations, insurance costs, and fuel economy concerns started reshaping the automotive landscape. 1973. Adapting to change by 1973. Safety regulations required significant design changes. The Camaro received new impact-absorbing front bumpers with large rubber guards, while many enthusiasts preferred the cleaner look of the 1970-72 models. The updates allowed the Camaro to survive in a stricter regulatory environment. Performance continued to decline, but Chevrolet kept the Camaro relevant by focusing on handling and styling. The Z28 was still available, now producing 245 horsepower, and the SS offered a 350 V8. Importantly, Chevrolet proved that the Camaro could adapt and still appeal to buyers despite the tightening restrictions. 1974. A new face. The 1974 Camaro introduced a major restyling, with larger aluminum bumpers that complied with new federal crash standards. The grille and taillights were redesigned, giving the Camaro a bolder, more modern appearance. This facelift marked the beginning of the Camaro S transition from pure muscle car to a more versatile pony car that could survive into the late 1970s. Sales rebounded strongly in 1974, with over 150,000 units sold, proving that the Camaro had weathered the storm better than many of its competitors. While other muscle cars were disappearing or being neutered beyond recognition, the Camaro managed to stay alive, balancing performance with changing market demands. By the mid-1970s, the American muscle car scene had entered a storm. The golden age of high-horsepower beasts was fading quickly. New government regulations, rising insurance premiums, and the 1973 oil crisis reshaped the market. Muscle cars were either vanishing or losing their fight. Yet, against all odds, the Chevrolet Camaro found a way not only to survive but thrive. The years 1975 to 1981 marked the Camaro's resilience, proving that this pony car had more than just raw power, it had adaptability. 1975. Embracing change. The 1975 Camaro marked the beginning of a new era. Chevrolet discontinued the Z28 due to declining demand for high-performance models and stricter emissions standards. Enthusiasts mourned the loss, but Camaro still had plenty to offer. For the first time, the Camaro came standard with a catalytic converter and unleaded fuel, showcasing Chevrolet's effort to comply with new emissions laws. While performance numbers dropped, the Camaro's appeal shifted towards styling and drivability. The base six-cylinder engine produced 105 horsepower, while V8 options ranged up to 155 horsepower. The 1975 model also saw design tweaks, including wraparound rear windows that improved visibility and gave the car a more modern look. Even with reduced performance, sales climbed to 145,770 units, proving the Camaro still had strong market presence. 1976. Holding strong. The 1976 Camaro carried over with minor changes, but introduced the return of the RS Rally Sport appearance package. This option gave buyers split bumpers, special striping, and unique trim, bringing back some of the sporty character that enthusiasts loved. While muscle cars were fading from the American landscape, Camaro was gaining ground. Over 182,000 units were sold, a huge increase from the troubled early 70s. Chevrolet realized that the Camaro's combination of sleek looks, affordability, and customization options was its biggest strength. 1977. Camaro beats Mustang in 1977. Something remarkable happened. the Chevrolet Camaro outsold the Ford Mustang for the very first time. Mustang, which had shrunk into a smaller, less aggressive design, was no longer the muscle car icon it once was. Meanwhile, Camaro stayed true to its performance-oriented, sporty image. The 1977 Camaro offered new styling cues, including a restyled grille and hood, as well as optional T-top removable roof panels, a feature that became wildly popular in the late 1970s. Under the hood, buyers could choose from a wide range of V8 South, with the most powerful being the 350 cubic inch producing 170 horsepower. Sales exploded to 218,853 units, cementing Camaro as the new king of the pony car wars. 1978. A fresh face. The 1978 Camaro received a significant facelift, with a new grille, wraparound taillights, and body-colored urethane bumpers that gave it a sleeker, modern appearance. This redesign reinvigorated the lineup, keeping it fresh for buyers as competition dwindled. A new luxury-oriented model, the Berlinetta, was introduced, while the Z28 returned after a 2-year break. The Berlinetta targeted customers who wanted comfort and style over raw performance. This dual strategy expanded Camaro's reach, appealing to both enthusiasts and everyday drivers. The reintroduction of the Z28 was big news. It came with a 350 volts 8 rated at 185 horsepower, functional hood scoop, sport suspension, and aggressive striping. The Z28 wasn't the fire-breathing race car of the early 70s, but it carried enough attitude and performance to keep enthusiasts interested. Sales surged to over 272,000 units. Another record-breaking year, 1979. Peak popularity. The 1979 Camaro achieved what few muscle cars ever did. It set an all-time sales record, with 282,571 units sold. The Camaro became one of Chevrolet's best-selling models of the decade. Chevrolet introduced minor cosmetic updates, including a redesigned instrument panel and new interior trim. The Z28 remained the performance flagship, with bold graphics, front and rear spoilers, and optional 4-speed manual transmission. Even though horsepower numbers were modest, 175 HP for the Z28, the Camaro's aggressive looks and sporty reputation were enough to keep customers pouring into showrooms. 1980. Adjusting to the times. By 1980, the oil crisis and stricter emissions laws pushed Chevrolet to downsize engines. A new 229 cubic inch V6 became the base engine, replacing the inline-6 for buyers wanting more power. Options included the 305 and 350 V8 South, but horsepower remained limited. Interestingly, Chevrolet introduced a turbocharged 3.8-liter V6 for California buyers, though it wasn't a big success. The Z28, however, continued to sell well thanks to its aggressive looks and sporty handling. Even if it lacked the brute force of earlier years, sales dipped slightly. It remained strong at over 152,000 units, showing the Camaro's enduring popularity. 1981. The end of an era. The 1981 Camaro marked the final year of the second generation. Visually, it looked very similar to the 1980 model, but Chevrolet made it the first Camaro equipped with computer-controlled emission systems, setting the stage for future technological advancements. Despite being at the end of its life cycle, the Camaro sold over 126,000 units in 1981. This proved just how much Americans still love the Camaro, even in a time when performance was heavily restricted. Legacy of the second generation. From 1970 to 1981, the Chevrolet Camaro went through dramatic changes. It began as a powerful, sleek muscle car capable of dominating racetracks, and ended as a versatile, stylish pony car that survived one of the toughest decades in automotive history. While raw horsepower declined throughout the 1970s, the Camaro's sales told another story. It became more popular than ever, outselling the Mustang. Introducing iconic trims like the Berlinetta and revived Z28, and adapting to economic and regulatory pressures, the Camaro proved it wasn't just a trend. It was a lasting American icon. The second-generation Camaro laid the foundation for the future. It demonstrated that even in difficult times, the Camaro brand could evolve without losing its identity.